everybody, Agent Fluffy here. I'm going to do a fanfic read of Discorded Ponies. This time, it's the great and powerful Trixie. Let's get started. Disappearing Pony Act. Lo and behold, the great and powerful Trixie, the all-powerful great magician in all of Equestria. There's no feat of magic I cannot perform. There is no skill or talent that my magic cannot surpass. Truly I'm honored to be in the presence of the great and powerful Trixie. My legendary tales is spread all across all of Equestria. There is none who do not know my name. There is none who doesn't love the great and powerful Trixie. Certainly you have heard that one of my many travels I came to a small hick town of Ponyville. That wouldn't be on the map if not for the regular visits by Princess Celestia. How after performing my magic show and prove my greatness and power once again, two fools didn't wish to take one of my stories on face value and put the great and powerful Trixie to the test. And she was publicly humiliated. I lost everything I owned in one night and had to flee the small no-face town to save what little face I had left. The great and powerful Trixie finds herself now in self-imposed exile, seeking to increase her already great power will take her back as the greatest user of magic of Equestria. It has nothing to do with being laughed off stage at every bird that Trixie attempted her show at after. Trixie did not break down in tears after her last show and ended with jeering and mocking nays from the crowds before it even started. No, she didn't. No, the great and powerful Trixie is not crying now from the memory. Don't be absurd. How did the great and powerful Trixie begin her path of being a magician and discovering her cutie mark? Psst, it was obvious from the start what Trixie's destiny would be. No, please don't make Trixie. Don't make me remember. I don't understand, Trixie. As the magic school's counselor, a gray pony with a black mane and a lightning bolt kitty mark wearing a scarf. You were upset over your performance review? I've seen your performance review, little Billy. What are you upset about? My parents had practically shoved me into his office after I broke down crying after reading my teacher's review for the first time. I didn't need to read my own review again to repeat it, no. It was very easy to memorize. Transmutation, average. Illusion, average. Telekinesis, average. Conjuring, average. Weather control, average. Mental suggestion, average. That just means you have a lot of potential. That's a nice way to say blank flank, I snapped back. The fact that I was the one who decided the point. Or maybe it was a point. Being a late bloomer was beginning to be noticed by my classmates. Trixie, you should be proud. Most unicorns excel in one area of magic or are almost helpless in others. Most unicorns can't even do weather control. There isn't a field in the books you're not capable in. The last time I saw a record like this was this one Billy who wrote about your agent Tantula. As if I cared about something like that. I'm not spectacular in any of them. I've been trying to stand out my classes since the first day. But no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, there was some pony doing it better. I thought when my parents finally scraped together the money so I could attend a fully blown school of magic that I'd finally be noticed. I had been chosen. Where I didn't have 4 sisters and 2 brothers to compete for attention with, my parents picked me. Me! Not any of my siblings, but me. But it was the same story, only multiplied by 100. It didn't help that back home my parents had all imagination of toadstools when it came to names. Nixie, Pixie, Nixie, Lexi. I was just another face in the herd. The counselor spoke in a calm, kind of voice. The old saying, a pony of all trades but master of none, actually says fully, a pony of all trades but master of none is often better than a master of one. I didn't hear him. All I heard was no matter what class of magic I chose, I'll just be another face in the crowd. Might as well not exist. Unless I wasn't in the crowd. I I ran away to try and join the circus. That afternoon, I got off 10 silly blocks and caught that same afternoon. Got sent to the counselor again and spent 2 weeks confined to my room, which of course I shared with my siblings. And I met Master, who was substitute teaching that one time. An old magician pony wants to pass on his tricks. The class loved the cantrips he threw into the stuffing museum lesson. I thought one thing, he knows how to get attention. I jumped at the chance. I wouldn't have taken no for an answer, but he accepted an apprentice readily. I originally wanted my stage name to be one and only Trixie, but Master felt it lacked impact and convinced me to go with the great and powerful Trixie. I cannot say in the least it was bad advice. My first practice at school didn't get the crowd of fillies and colts I wanted, but my next one did for sheer word of mouth. The moment the crowd cheered in my first pyrotechnics, I knew this was what I wanted to do in my life, and I felt the tingle on my flanks. And then for the first time, I said those magic words that gave such sweet, warm feeling in the pit of my stomach. Anything you can do, I can do better. I didn't never realize how satisfying, how comforting those words would sound until I finally said them. I was finally no longer just an interchangeable horseshoe. The one and only Trixie. The great and powerful Trixie! The crowd ate up as I tore down the top students with their own signature magic tricks. One unicorn's specialty was fire magic, red coat and black mane with a blue flame on her flank, actually shouted, "I challenge you to a game of catch the fireball!" And she shot it right at me with the full intention of burning off my new cutie mark. The crowd laughed and stomped their hooves as I used my telekinetics to make it chase her instead. People loved seeing those who were better than they were getting pulled down to their level, and I was happy to oblige this basic need in my show. I made myself a costume based on my master's, with a little help from my mother, but with a more eye-catching color scheme than my master's grays and whites. Later I read up somewhere there were members of high society that spoke in third person. Well, it was good enough for upper-class snobs, it was good enough for the great and powerful Trixie, and the crowds loved that too. And meanwhile, I still found myself invisible the moment the spotlight went out. I had no intention of saying in Hoofington knowing that. Thank you for listening to my story. The great and powerful Trixie does not share herself with just anyone. Oh, listening to Ponies' thoughts makes mine a habit lately, so said the flowing magic wand with blue twinkles behind it, just like Trixie's cutie mark. It told me of Trixie, how it was my friend, my ally, a force of magic that only sought the best and brightest and the most worthy. I wished to aid the great and powerful Trixie by giving her the greatest magic tricks she could hope to perform. Yes, finally, break! After having the life stolen from her, the great and powerful Trixie would be on top where she belongs. I can't wait to see that purple pony's face. Oh, how dare the Twilight Sparkle, I imagine, look at me with concern and worry. How dare she ask me if this is what I really want? Of course it's what I really want. Ugh, just go away. Trixie does not care for your sad eyes. The strange visitor, who is a giant version of my cutie mark, gives me a couple of scrolls, promising that any one of these spells would be the grandest displays in magic I can imagine as I read the almost swirling letters. I memorize them with ease. They're rather simple, but the results seem rather elusive. But the swirling pattern just draws my attention in, almost like they're moving. A pony wearing a tuxedo gallops in a rundown apartment I've been staying at and shakes me. "Great and powerful Trixie, what are you doing? You're on in 20 seconds. Huh? I don't have any shows arranged. I haven't for months. Another worthy gift from my benefactor. Normally, Trixie would never lower herself by accepting the kindness of strangers, but this strange visitor was really some exact embodiment of herself. That wasn't really help from others, was it? I'm in full costume before I even know it. I rush out the door and instead of finding a shoddy apartment complex, I find myself on my own magic stage, but several times approved in a theater. The great and powerful Trixie gets into her act with new flourish and zeal. Trixie can't remember the last time she had a crowd this big. All of them looking at her. Looking at her! She was the reason they were here. They had come for her. Trixie began to react with her flashy fireworks display triggered by magic, began to ooze and ahs. Trixie only deserves, which quickly becomes stunned silence at her display of power. Then Trixie shows off spectacular illusions and beautiful imagery, and getting into her fantastic tales that swooned the crowd to no end. In no time at all, she came into her climax. Biggest spell ever? One of the rules masters had taught her was never do a trick beyond rehearse first. But the more Trixie thought of it, the less she can resist. The more I want to see it, the more I have to see it now. The words still swirl in my head as I think about them. I cast a spell, creating the wildest, most fantastic display of lights and colors I could have ever imagined. The sun and moon rose together, stars swirled into the living ocean. Colors of every shade clashed against each other in a symphony. Stars swirled into the shapes of a living constellation, all of them dancing to Trixie's whim. The sun and moon eclipse, a galaxy spiral, and Trixie sparkling in 1,000 colors. The audience was a blast by accompanying sounds that would knock any pony off their hooves. And with the adrenaline still running high, it was over. I did it! I did it! I panted, joy tinkling inside me. No one clapped or stomped, no one smiled or frowned. They stared through me with casual indifference. A few yawned. A couple began talking about yesterday's hoopball game. They simply got from their seats and began to humbly hoof away. I stared in shock. Heckling I was used to. Cheering I lived for. Mockery I've been forced to endure, but no reaction at all? Like I didn't exist? Wait! I shouted. No one even looked back at me. They didn't even snigger. They might as well not hurt me. They didn't stop. They were all leaving. They didn't even turn back to look at me. No, don't you dare turn your flakes on the great and powerful Trixie! Not even a fiery retort, which I would have welcomed. I galloped in front of the last two ponies to leave. A finely dressed unicorn stallion, Earth Pony mare. They bumped right into me like I was an invisible wall and looked about for a bit before I began. How dare you! You should feel honored to witness the grandeur of a performance so great and powerful Trixie. How dare you treat her like some cheap background act? My arcane performances are not some sideshow. Eyeing Trixie's words, twist she so angry. The unicorn didn't look intimidated at all, and acted like you're trying to explain something to a tree. Well, yeah, I guess it was really good for magic, I guess. It's not like anyone actually pays attention to that sort of thing anymore. And one speaker out already. Any unicorn could do magic. It was just a fad watching magic for entertainment. A fad? The mayor said. We heard you like taking it to the next level, though we would give the idea one last try. We've seen so many. It was better, but only its own mundane, ordinary, average, run-of-the-mill way. It only show magic is nothing special. Mer giggles to herself. Nothing special? No, Trixie will never cry before an audience. The stallion said simply. In the end, it's just magic, and any unicorn can do that. The fad for actually enjoying show mages is sold 5 minutes ago. I fell on my knees. I didn't stop them from leaving, but they still pushed me aside. Poor great and powerful Trixie. It was my benefactor. You! What went wrong? Trixie demands. What went wrong? Your spell! Everyone just laughed! It was like they couldn't see me! There's nothing wrong with the spell, Trixie. Maybe you just didn't do it right after all. That above average spell is impossible for just a mundane average unicorn to properly perform. Twilight sparkled it without breaking a sweat. Everyone loved her when she did it. That spell just reflects the real skill and power of the user. How people react to it is exactly what the unicorn's like. If you just walked away like you don't exist, maybe it's because you don't. Maybe you don't really know magic after all. Maybe magic is just a little too hard for an average unicorn like you to handle. No! Shut up! What kind of entertainer can take a few simple, honest reviews, Trixie? Don't you know that's part of the show? Maybe you should go home to your family. Maybe your parents don't have time for you now that your brothers and sisters are all famous and known. Unlike you, of course. Of course it isn't Trixie the daughter anymore. That's an average Trixie, the magician who can't even do one spell right. You be quiet! Quiet, I say! Trixie commands it! I feared tears began to stain. The giant magic wand floated right in my face. It was looking into my eyes. Ooh, Trixie, maybe I'm being too hard. After all, there's one trick you managed to do spectacularly. You're completely invisible. Already have been. Comes very natural for you. No! I cried. I had to get away as far as possible from the taunting voices. I ran outside. The ponies outside didn't pause for me. They bumped into me like I wasn't there. I called out and no one even turned their ears. Please, can anyone aid Trixie? Anyone? No one apparently. I grabbed a random pony in panic and they just shrugged me off without even looking in my face. They keep bumping into me again and again from both sides, throwing me off balance. I fall into a heap. I grind my teeth. The memory of the swirling letters make my head hurt. Were the words for a spell? Too much with an average unicorn to hold on to? Why do I keep trying? Just to keep failing? Why do I keep entertaining people who forgot my name 5 minutes later? Why should I put so much effort into something that's gone in an instant? No one cares about just another unicorn. I hate theater. I hate being a magician. I hate magic! I screamed at the top of my lungs, the tears coming freely now. No one's even looked at me. Too busy with their own lives to have time for a stranger in need. No one ever does. People are only your friends so they feel like it. So what's the point of being friends at all? I hear some noises around me now. It doesn't matter. The average and invisible Trixie. I'm not anything special. I'm not anything. I'm nothing. Who cares for a unicorn as same as any other? The ponies of Hoopington, kind more often than not ponies as they were, gathered around the poor pale blue unicorn with unnatural looking muted gray colors. She couldn't seem to hear what they were saying, begging to be heard even when he asked what was wrong. It was like she couldn't even see them. Then she went catatonic. She went from not being able to hear them to not caring. A unicorn mare claiming to be the unicorn's sister screamed her face in horror, trying to get the grayed out unicorn's attention. High above, Discord shapeshifted in its true form from its disguise. You weren't anything too special, my dear, just the other elements of magic to be born through one or two unicorns a generation. I had to just outbreak in a week or stun underdeveloped version before trying to mouth the major detail. Major deal. Yeah, my thanks, dear. Now, I know how to crush the other elements of magic that has already realized the potential and the meaning behind our power. An element of magic has no one to support it, with no bonds connected to it. It is a glass doll waiting to be crushed. The pathetic and irrelevant Trixie. Phew! That was a long one. Ugh. Let's hope I won't do that one that long. I hope you didn't get bored out of your mind. So, while listening to this. So, this has been Agent Fluffy, and I will see you guys in the next Discord Pony, where Twilight Sparkle is the very last one. So, this has been Agent Fluffy. See you guys next time. If you just walked away like you don't exist, maybe it's because you don't. Maybe you don't really know